So, looking at that, because that's one of the other open articles, I guess, on the hours of work. The only thing holding us up there on Article 22 was the 80 versus 84. So if we consider doing that for October 1, 24, that would
take care of
that
both
would take care of
articles.
22. We'd keep it as is, but the agreement would be that changes for next year. So that's certainly a reasonable counter. That's something we need to talk about and will talk about and be able to respond to, because we've certainly been looking at the 80-84 issue all along. So if it's sort of helps resolve the wage issue, and then also the article on hours of work, which is Article 22, that'd be great. We knock out two things. Let's see, the only other ones open that I think the holiday, Article 20, we were adding Veterans Day. 21 on leave time, we basically status quo, just changing the name of the union. So I don't know if if we can get all this wrapped up, if we're pretty good on those two. So we'd be potentially, if you can agree to those, 20, 21, 22, and then we're down to
And there was one other thing with wages they wanted considered.
okay.
All specialty assignments just to be a flat 5%. It's not something that's a line in the sand, but it is something they wanted to be considering. And that would include, what was the one that wasn't listed? Outreach.
Training and outreach.
Yeah, so it would be training and outreach would be the only ones affected.
So talking 3 people go with that.
Keeping in mind that training alone has to deal with every single person that we hire, every single bit of training that we receive. So they're like thoroughly involved in every aspect of what we do here, so.
And right now, they're 2.5%.
And right now, they're nothing.
They're nothing.
Nothing.
Right now, they have nothing.
Training receives no
Yeah,
incentive pay
I think
whatsoever.
the only thing that May's certification has
Correct.
DARE, there's certification pay for DARE officer.
That's it,
And I think
right.
is the only one that's 20 cents per hour.
Because this
Right.
is FTO 2.5.
Well,
FTO.
we're talking about the training office.
Oh, got it, got it.
Yeah.
Training office, right.
Got it.
That's who trains everybody, including like tenured
And
officers as
the
well.
only ones that are 2.5% are FTO and SRT.
Right.
Correct.
We're talking, so like motors and CIU, they get 5% specialty pay for
And
their
shift differentials,
division
right.
that they're working in. We would consider training and outreach are also specialty units or divisions, if you will, and they would be now included in receiving the 5% specialty.
They're getting nothing now.
Correct. So they're
And
getting
then
nothing
it's
right
20
now.
cents for DARE officer, so the DARE officer gets 20 cents.
And they do a lot.
And that's only
with the
one
community
officer
and
that can get
everything.
that.
So you're saying that's three people?
It would affect 3
Outreach
people.
It would affect 3
training.
people.
Outreach is DARE, and then I think
There's
there's two
SROs.
officers, yeah.
Yeah, SRO.
The SROs.
And our recruitment office that basically is who goes to the college and tries to get us.
I just want, we were talking.
Chief, you know who they are, the three, you know what they're talking about.
And we're talking about.
And then
Four.
SRT.
Pivotal in our
Oh,
SRO.
right, that's SRO,
Yes.
sorry, yes.
He's classified as outreach.
Yeah.
To me, outreach is cheaper.
So it's 4 people,
See, different.
all of whom right now get nothing, no specialty or incentive. But the other specialties are already getting 5, so we're not increasing anyone else. We're
Nope,
just
yeah,
adding-
they're not,
they'd
we're
be
just,
the
we're
same.
just adding additional units to that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about positions.
Like CA.
Yeah.
Okay, any,
I'm guessing very clear on what they're asking.
So you're saying there's
Yes.
4. You're saying there's 4 positions.
officers.
4?
There's 4.
Did you come up with
There's
4?
the
Yeah,
officer,
you
I
have
just want to make sure we're clear.
the DARE, and the SRO.
one training officer, 2 in-house outreach, and then your SRO, which is part of one.
So those that are now under the certification pay, you would move them from certification pay
Right, because
to a
if they're getting
5%
a
incentive?
5%, you would remove their officer from the
And
certification.
SRO is on.
Yeah, that would be something that we would have to talk about, if it's gonna be stacked or not. But I think they would rather probably receive a percentage
Right.
other than the certification.
Yeah, right, I would think so too.
Anything else on the wages?
That covered it. That covered it.
How much of a increase is this? Chair
And is that, sorry, question on that, is that because it's a full-time assignment, not an additional duty?
Yeah, so like
Is that the
we're,
difference?
we're all 3 patrol training Shane, that he's our training officer. Like he comes in, that's his sole purpose. Outreach, Officer Reagan, or Officer Henderson and Rossi, that's their sole purpose.
Okay.
They're not on patrol taking calls, they're in outreach.
Right, so different than, like, you've got your VTO on here.
Correct, that's a certification.
Right.
That's something that you would do if you got called out to do a breath test.
For your traffic homicide, all those are
Yep,
just
those are
additional
certifications.
duties, and this you're saying is a different position, so.
Correct.
you're
So
Yep.
their officer ideally should be there.
gonna- Okay, I got you.
You understand all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. I got it.
You got it.
I got it.
As long as one of us have it.
Operational, I got it.
As long as one of us
I
have
get
it, she can educate the rest of us.
Yes. I know the org chart, I got it.
You should go back there and hand out cookies.
Yeah, do we? Yeah, let's make some corrections, do some thoughtful prep, give them a copy, we'll talk about this.
Yeah. All right, let me suggest, let's take a caucus. We're gonna look at, do some calculations on the time and service.
And correct the annual amount.
Correct the
to
other
make-
stuff.
Make
So
sure it's
that-
all kosher.
For the
I think it
Yeah.
didn't
Okay.
change the calculation, I think that's just a standalone column, but we'll make sure.
Okay.
And then we'll look at the D, the year 3 and the 8084, and see if we have any questions on that or no, understand it and or where our position is. And it can be a restroom break for some of us who need the restroom. So let's, 20 minutes probably, to run some
Yeah,
calculations.
just 20 and then you can
Can
text
we
us.
take 20?
20?
Yeah.
And we'll print some copies out, and send them down to you.
Okay.
It only takes them
And
10.
are you guys gonna consider the retro for A as well?
Yeah.
We will talk about that.
Perfect.